What is going on, everybody? Not here, and I want to spend a little bit of time tonight. This is probably gonna be a short video to talk about the Pokemon Summer Swoon. So, those of you who haven't been around probably don't know this. Those of you who have obviously do. When we get to June to about Labor Day, maybe a little bit after, things really slow down. Folks are going on vacations. They're, you know, out of school or their kids are out of school. They're doing a lot of things that aren't necessarily focused in the TCG space. So, um, 2024, for example, in the summer, things were really slow, really dead. And then obviously going into the November set, which was Surging Sparks. Um, yeah, yes, November Surging, September was Stellar Crown. Things finally started to ramp up, and we kind of swung out of the bear market in the bull market. Summer of 2025, the volume was absolutely dead. Um, Now, the interesting part is there wasn't a race to zero on booster boxes because stores were reasonably healthily capitalized, if that's a word. But there was nobody undercutting, trying to dump product on the market in 2025. But for example, for a while I was doing a booster box price update, and then now it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to do that because a lot of the older booster boxes um, are out of print, have moved up, and the new ones are all over the place. But the total daily amount of sales on TCG Player went from about $10,000 in booster boxes, and this was SV1 through SV8, SV8 or 9. And then once we got to July, that number got cut in half to like $5,000. It was absolutely atrocious when it came to sell through, and a lot of the booster boxes were down to like 1, 2, or 3 a day. Again, the prices didn't plummet because even though the demand on the buy side softened up, the supply side didn't exactly hammer it and push things to further down, if you will. Now, what's interesting in 2026, we have a different release schedule. For example, last year we had Black and White in July. The year before we had was it Shrouded? Yeah, Shrouded Fable, I believe, and I think that was an August release, if I recall correctly. So both specialty sets. This year we don't have a specialty set in July. Instead, we have Pitch Black. So it's going to be super interesting when we see allocations of Pitch Black, which are presumably similar to Chaos Rising, as far as I can tell from the allocations I've gotten so far. So it's going to be interesting to see if having a standard set and having stores dump boxes on the market, well, the demand side of the equation is a little bit softer, it really has a negative impact. Last year, not so much. The year before, not so much, because with specialty sets, you don't have booster boxes. You have a lot of ancillary SKUs, and a lot of the items are really distributed across a wide variety of items and demand, etc. So this year, it's going to be really interesting. And again, the volume hasn't softened up as far as I can tell. Chaos Rising still selling 30 to 40 booster boxes a day. Now, we haven't seen Wave 2 yet. I think I had Wave 2 booster boxes shipped from one distributor, I believe, if I recall correctly. But everything else should be shipping this week or next week. So we'll see what happens with the Chaos Rising booster boxes. Perfect order again. Not expected to see those until the middle of July at the earliest. But we also have all these ancillary products that are going to be pretty sizable distraction from spending on something like Pitch Black. And everybody thinks it's going to be a great set. I tend to think it might be a little soft for the reasons we're talking about here. So Ascended Heroes booster bundles, over $100, going nuts. Now, we haven't gotten Wave 2 from distribution yet, but generally speaking, I don't think that there's going to be a whole lot of bot fodder for Wave 2 coming through Walmart. Remains to be seen. ETBs, what's out there is what's out there. The super premium collections, these have moved up after getting dumped on the market, but we have everybody focused on Ascended Heroes. And then we're going to roll right into 30th anniversary. So We're going to have some 30th anniversary spoilers. Obviously, we've had the one that have come out, but we're going to have some more detailed spoilers right around the time when Pitch Black comes out. So, again, I think the impact this year could be generally with the specialty sets, the supply's a little bit lighter, the price point's a little bit cheaper. So, dropping those sets into a softer demand cycle or portion of the year, season, whatever you call it, it really hasn't had that much impact. But again, it's going to be super interesting to see what happens when there's one wave, potentially two waves. I'm guessing we're not going to see wave two of Pitch Black until right around 30th anniversary comes out. We'll see if they drop other booster boxes or not around them. Who knows? So again, it's going to be interesting because I think a lot of folks are going to be pushing Ascended Hero still. Now it is getting a little long in the tooth now. We're obviously 5-6 months in. But then a lot of folks are going to look at 30th. And they're probably going to start saving for 30th. So just want to kind of talk a little bit about this. And again, I'm sure a lot of you folks weren't around last year or the year before to see the difference here. But the sell-through on all this stuff is certainly going to soften up. And, we'll see what happens. I think folks are going to be far more selective than what they are today. And, there's probably going to be some opportunities to get some things a little bit cheaper than one would think. And then as we come out of the summer, again, last year, September, October was strong, and then everything fell off a cliff until we got to the second, third week of January. So we'll see what happens this year. Just want to talk about it a little bit. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm not quite sure what direction it's going to go, but we're going to find out the hard way. So anyway, guys, like the video, subscribe, join the Discord, and have a good night.